G'day guys, welcome back. I'm Sean, this is Mark, and what are we going to be talking about?
Sensory engagement, VAK, as you know.
VAK. Now, I know this is a slightly different words, but in NLP it's described as VAK, but Mark, can you please do us the honor?
Yeah, I mean, it's sensory engagement. Human beings all live their lives through sensory experiences, and we've got more than 5, but there's the 5 common ones being sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. And from a communication level, 2 of these, I often joke and say, we don't really use for communication, although we might, but it's rare that you walk up and sniff somebody or lick them, right? You could do. You might get arrested.
I'm not allowed to anymore.
Exactly. Dial 1300 HR, ask for extension Sean, right? When we do that way, right? But so that leaves us with the other 3 being visual, sight, audio, being what we're listening to, and kinesthetic being touch or feel. And that could also be inner touch. Feeling.
Like an emotional.
And emotional is a feeling as well.
Yeah.
So when you talk about sensory engagement, VAK, that's what's referred to as those modalities of sight, sound, and feel and touch. Now, and so in engaging that, consciously engaging that, and it's fair to say that you have got, people might have a preference for some of those. In the same way that some people prefer analytics over story, some prefer the story over analytics. There's no direct correlation between that level of behavioral science and what sense they prefer, but there would be an argument to say that people definitely might prefer certain sensory engagements, and it's harder to pick. And so the default would be really understand how can you build in VAK into your sales presentations as the default and engage all of those senses regularly, because that's how you make it more engaging.
Yeah, this was one of the things that really blew my mind. It was early part of the NLP course that I was doing, but I started seeing it everywhere, and I hadn't realized it was there the whole time. So when you talk about visual, and it is argued that somebody has all 3, they just give a preference or a power to or strength to one of the 3. So if you had someone that was visual, they might give little indicators in communication saying, well, I'd really like to see things my way.
Yes.
Or what I want to do is I want to show you something.
Yeah.
Or, I'd like us to visualize what this could be.
Yes. Look here, right? So
Look
what
here.
they're using is the words, because you're using descriptions or descriptors for sight. Yeah. The submodalities of sight. Yeah. It looks to me like visualizing. I want you to picture this. Anything like that, those descriptors is a clue that they're engaging that modality.
And there's more. So with the verbal, it's the other things. Is I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
Or I wish you could hear what I'm saying. My wife says that to me a lot.
Actually.
So,
listen.
She says that one
You're not listening. You're not listening to me.
Yeah.
Is that no? Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm getting great insights to my relationship.
It sounds to me like.
That's a really good one in sales, and it's not for everyone though. But if you have someone who's using that language and you said to them back, it sounds to me like you're saying this. Now, stop there. I want you to think of what that connection is going to be forming like. Because one, you've reminded in speaking their own language. Yeah. So they're going to form an instant connection with you.
Even things like pitch it to me. Pitch is a submodality of sound. I don't like the tone you're taking. Yeah. So you got to think any descriptors around submodality of sound, anything associated with sound, tone, pitch, listening, all of that.
And then the third one is feel. Yeah, I get a gut feeling this isn't going to work, or this doesn't feel right to me, or this feels awesome. We should definitely do this.
I've got a hunch. It's that 6th sense. I've got a hunch. Yeah. Right. All of those kind of descriptions around that feeling.
So it's really hard for. Now, I gave this scenario before. If you're talking with someone and you start adapting your approach into talking with them in the same language, that is going to help. But it can be very hard to pick up if you're not consciously aware of it or had practice, or with less.
And that kinesthetic one's a bit broad. It's things like when people are saying that communication seems really cold. Yeah. This is really warm. It makes me feel warm. All of those as well, because what they're describing is that inner sense or inner feeling and warmth. So just pick up. You can pick up. So you don't actually have to be in the same room to be able to engage somebody using those senses either, because you can do that with the power of your description. So I talk about this with telephone sales and call center sales. You can still engage those by changing your language to incorporate them. I want you to visualize this. Hey, I want you to really listen to this. I want you to get the tone of what we're trying to do here. Or you can change it. How does that make you feel with your questioning? So you can force them to get into those senses as well, or you can get them engaged in those senses, even if you're not in the same room.
What Mark is bringing up right now is really important because he's just showing you that you can use all three languages or all three in the communication piece. And that's really important for large audience and not in the room, such as in video cameras. Video camera land, you can absolutely do this. In fact, if you go back and look at our previous chapters, you'll see that we used all three as well, and as we've been going. But in presentations in particular.
See, so my program Orator, which is my presentation skills IQ program, I use it for different things. Like it's a train the trainer program for train the trainer type skills. It's facilitation skills. It's a business leader that needs to do more engaging presentations, so business or keynote style. You can use it a variety of ways. A trainer holding a room attention. But that program, when I roll it as a live program with organizations, I have deliberately designed the program with no technology. And why? It's because people hide. The technology is the easy way to engage the senses, and it becomes a washout because you rely over too much on that. So I deliberately roll that training without the tech because the tech is the easy piece. You think video, well, that's visual and auditory. It's visual auditory right there. They call it that. You know, you can make people feel it. You do the right creative content. You can force people to feel stuff and make them feel things. So visual, audio, kinesthetic content through technology, video, PowerPoint, all the rest of it, that's what it's designed to do, is engage those senses powerfully. And so you can put better foresight into the way you design that and use tech. But ultimately, the raw skill of engaging somebody's senses, that's the skill, is turn up, do a presentation with 1,000 people with nothing. And still get them to feel and engage the senses. That's where you know, you get, I mean, and you can do that by simple things. It's like sight. You engage people's sight by movement. You know, moving around, you force them to use their eyesight. By volume, by getting closer to them or further away, or by changing the tone of your voice. Silence, using silence powerfully.
For great effect,
For great effect, right? A colored pen, a whiteboard marker, old school for a presenter. Flip chart and couple of colored pens. Why? Because there's some color. Color is for sight as well. So, and then power of telling great stories to make people feel and evoke feeling. So you can really tap those senses and master those senses without tech. And if you can do that, adding the tech stuff on top just makes it really easy. That's the icing on the cake. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I challenge you guys watching just to think about what strength you might be as well, and which one do you commonly lead into. I think that's a really good place to start. Even as you're watching us, you might find that there's one of three areas. Either you like the content that we're telling you or that you're hearing, or you might actually get a feel about who we are, you know, who are these jokers up on the screen here, or you know, you might actually like the look of what we're doing through our body language and our movement. So have a think about that, and then really, when you go out, start listening for those words. If you could see it my way, or I really would love to feel like I could trust you, or you know, those feels, the hears, the sees, they're really important indicators.
Give when you're selling. So again, bringing this back to sales, give people something to look at. Get them engaged on the screen. Give them something to look at. Building a video. Give them something to listen to. Hence this use of testimonial, all this sort of something to listen to, something to look at, something to feel. That's the handout. That's the leave behind. Or if you've got a presentation, let them steer the presentation. And then it's the power of how you've packaged that content that engages that kinesthetic sense as well. But it's just simple as that. Am I giving them something to look at, something to listen to? Have I given something to touch and feel?
It's not just in language too. This can be done in script, in emails. When you're cold calling, trying to get appointments, something like, I feel like if you gave me the opportunity to come and show you and really hear about how we can deliver more value to you, this would start us off in the great path. I mean, you touched all three right there in a single sentence. So think about that and how you can use this. It's not sneaky, it's not manipulative, it's just about forming the greatest connection you can with someone.
It's improving your communication, because we're sensory beings. It's actually encouraging that people get fully submersed in your communication with you. And maybe just try avoid licking them and sniffing them.
Or if all else fails, go there. Go there. All right, thanks guys. Stick around. We got our last chapter up next, don't we?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay.
Keep that as a surprise.
Yep. Stay with us. Bye.